Hey everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me. So, yeah, if you're watching this, thanks so much for either joining the live stream or watching the recording of this. My name's Nick, and I'm from a group of content creators called Talking Cardboard. Please check out all of our other content via our link stream, and I'm so bad at trying to point at my on-screen. There we go, that works. You follow our QR code to our link tree with links to all of our other content. We do X tweets, TikTok, podcasts. And then of course live streams like this on our YouTube channel or Twitch. So in this video, or I should say live stream, I'm going to do an unboxing of the highly anticipated Earthborne Rangers, which is published by a new board game company called Earthborne Games. And this is a game that I backed on Kickstarter. It was crowdfunded on Kickstarter. I want to say almost 2 years ago now is when it was when it finished the crowdfunding process on Kickstarter. Maybe a little under 2 years. I don't really track the timing of Kickstarter projects in terms of whether they hit their timing or not, because I back so many, and I prefer just not worrying about it. So in my mind, this actually was on relatively on time, and it was a nice surprise to find out that it was ready to get picked up at my local game store a few weeks ago. Thankfully, I live in the Twin Cities area, and that's where Earthborne is based out of. Here in the Twin Cities area, so I was able to pick up my board game in person. So with that said, hopefully some of you at least have heard of this game, and if not, then I'm excited that you are learning about this game for the first time watching this video or playthrough, or live stream I should say. And in short, Earthborne Rangers is a card game that is fully cooperative and really tries to hit have a heavy nature theme throughout the whole game. So with that said, it's kind of an adventure game. It's kind of an open-ended game to my understanding, in that there's not like a clear objective per se. From my understanding, I haven't actually played it yet. I should preface with that. So this is just an unboxing, nothing more than that. I hope to do live playthroughs of the game soon as well, so stay tuned for that. All right, so let's actually get to the unboxing. One thing I want to point out is I did already do a little kind of a trial unboxing. So there's stickers on the side that you probably can't maybe see very well, or there's the residue of stickers on the side that you maybe can't see very well. I just bring that up because apparently that was kind of contentious. I noticed on the chats that a lot of backers of this were a little frustrated with the stickers, because if you tear them off, you will pull off a little bit of the cardboard box, but you can either just take a knife through the sticker, or do what I did and just peel the sticker off super carefully. Nonetheless, so I have opened this. I already made a TikTok about my unboxing too, so if you want to see that, go ahead and check out our TikTok, Talking Cardboard TikTok page. But the thing that you immediately notice when opening Earthborne Rangers, and I give Earthborne Games a lot of credit for doing this, is using paper packaging. Now, I don't really know if this is not done typically because there's a cost aspect to it, or using paper packaging just isn't as protective as plastic packaging, or why we don't see recycled paper used more often as a packaging, which maybe it just doesn't look nice to people. I don't know. I don't know why this isn't used more often in the packaging of board games. There probably is a good answer, but nonetheless, I applaud Earthborne Rangers for doing this because they're trying to be very eco-friendly with the packaging materials of their game, which aligns with the theme of the game, and I think that's really cool, and I hope more games start to do that in the future. So that's something that I think is awesome. And then in line with that, the packaging for all the cards also instead of plastic, use like this recycled paper material. And I wish I was using the right terms other than just paper that's recyclable. But you never see this in games either, using a paper packaging for the cards opposed to plastic. And maybe that's for moisture protection or something. Again, I don't know a good reason for why papers like this isn't used more often for the cards, but I digress. Great. I'm glad that Earthborne took that because it doesn't bother me any. And if it increases the price of the game a little bit, then I think I'm okay with that. But it would be interesting to know if it's even much of a cost factor or not. So you open the box and you see all these decks of cards. I don't know if I'm going to open every single deck right in this unboxing video right now, but I'll open up at least one to kind of thumb through the different cards that come with the game. And in terms of how the game plays, I don't want to give an overview of the game in this video. This is just to show the content of the box for those interested. Like I said, I hope to learn the game shortly. If there are, of course, videos out there that go into detail about how the game plays, if you're really curious. But my simple description is it reminds me a lot of the Arkham Horror LCG in that you have a character, you're going through, in Arkham Horror, the campaigns are structured. So this game is open-ended. So that's a difference. But in terms of how your character works and that you have a unique deck of cards that you are creating, and some cards are items that you're adding to your hero, and then you have enemies coming up that you are like kind of attaching to, that you have to take care of on the board, so to speak. That's what it. And then there's different attributes that that characters need to. Or different skill checks, different skills for different types of skill checks, just like in the Arkham Horror LCG. And some characters are going to be stronger at certain attributes than others. So I found that card. So for example, in this game, there's awareness. What is it? Sorry. Awareness, spirit, fitness, and focus are the 4 attributes that are kind of used in skill checks throughout the game. So that's like the very basic premise. Obviously, it gets more complicated than what I just described. So these are cards that I think modify a skill check. So this, and I could be completely off base with this comment, but I want to say I saw this in a video. This is kind of what modifies a skill check. So you'll notice in the box, there's clearly no dice, so that's obvious. So I think what modifies skill checks are these cards, and depending on the skill that you're trying to achieve, there's a different modifier on each card. So these cards can be used for each type of skill check. And this reminds me a lot, of course, of Gloomhaven, where you have a modifier deck that you're drawing from that modifies a skill check. So there's a little bit of uncertainty when you're about to try to complete a skill check. So or common test. So here we go. This is actually probably a good card to look at as well. I think these are the common tests, meaning these are the types of skill checks you can do without having any other cards at your disposal. You're always able to traverse, which is essentially move across the world map. SPI or Connect is some other type of test that uses the spirit trait. Then there's Remember, which is for focus, and this Avoid for awareness. So anyway, like I said, I'm already kind of explaining more about the game than I want to. And I want to try to be also very vague with the cards, because this is, I don't want to spoil anything, but you can see, these are maybe location cards, I want to say, without, again, actually knowing for certain. But I'm just showing these quickly to give a quick illustration of the great artwork this game comes with. I mean, I haven't played yet, but I feel a big part of the experience of this game is, of course, trying to, picture that you're in this world that this Earthborne Rangers game is creating, and it does that. It's like a story. It's like you're in my mind, my description is you're kind of playing through an actual story, which is really cool. So those are like, again, some of the what I would say are the various location cards. And then you have I showed you like the skill modifier cards, and then you have the various types of these are called mission or story cards. So again, I don't want to spoil anything, but here's like some sort of item. And just to give a brief example, so this is an item, in addition to those common tests I was just talking about, this item gives you the opportunity to do these types of tests as well. So for example, using your spirit skill plus, and you modifies it with heart, it says give 2, so you can give a biscuit, blah blah blah. So that's how you get different types of skill tests to do in the game, is by acquiring items. And then I think locations are going to have skill tests as well to advance the storyline. All right, so enough about the cards here. I don't think, for this purpose of avoiding spoilers, I'm not going to really open all these in front of you, but hopefully you get the gist that the cards have great artwork, and there's lots of cards. I mean, this is a card-based game. So next thing here is the paragraph book. So this is a story game. Again, for the sake of spoilers, I'm not going to show these in detail. But as you go through the game, you're going to be referencing various paragraphs in the storybook, which will kind of, tell you a story of Earthborne Rangers. Nothing special other than, various paragraphs that you'll be reading through. So that looks cool. Next, we have the rulebook itself. The rulebook is a total of 47 pages. Just so to give you some context with that, there's a quick reference on the back, and in terms of visuals, looks like a pretty comprehensive rulebook. This game is different than a normal game that you're maybe used to. Like, it's not like a deck builder. There's not really a simple way to describe it. So I know online there's people that say it's not the easiest game just to pick up and play. However, there are a lot of videos that I know Earthborne Games has made to help teach the game, and from what I watched, it makes sense. It's just that this game uses maybe terminology for things that you heard other terminology before in the past. So, like the aspects. First of all, they call them aspects. Typically I would call these traits or something, right? But Earthborne calls them aspects. Nothing wrong with that. You just have to get used to that's what this game uses to describe the various skills. And then the skills themselves: awareness, focus, fitness, and spirit. Not your normal traditional strength, intelligence, luck, or whatever. So different types of skills that you might have to get used to using the terms for. So anyway, that's the rulebook. Next in the box, we have the map, the world map. So they call it the Valley. So in Earthborne, I guess in Earthborne Rangers, the game is set in this fictional location called the Valley. I liken it to like a national park, right? Like, it's this nice, open, very natural location. I think there's actual urban environments too. Like, this is called Headwaters Station. So it's not just all nature. There are cities or towns that you'll be exploring too. But from my understanding, to get from A to B, you have to traverse follow the paths that are on the map, and it's an adventure game. So just like any adventure game, there's a starting spot, and from there it's kind of an open world experience. You're able to take the path that you want based on the cards that based on your experiences during the game. And I'll put this underneath side cam here so you can see it a little better. The map itself is... Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for that feedback, Davey. I appreciate the comment, and thanks for joining. Yeah, this seems to be kind of the new hotness. Corey from Talking Cardboard was asking if I had this game, and if he's asking about it, he's all about the new hotness. So if he's asking about it, it must be a popular game. I just happened across it on... I frequent crowdfunding, what games are being crowdfunded every week, so I saw it one week and was like, oh, this game looks cool, and instant backed it. But also, something I haven't mentioned yet is the owner of Earthborne Games is Andrew Navarro, and I consider him a friend. He probably wouldn't say I'm a friend to him, but I like to say he's a friend because he's an industry titan, in my mind at least, in the hobby board gaming world. He used to be at Chip Theory Games and used to be at Fantasy Flight Games at executive positions, so he really knows a lot about the industry and knows how to run a board game company. And his first game at Earthborne Games, I think, is a real winner. Again, I'm saying that obviously without much gameplay experience, but at least from what I've seen so far, there's a lot of good things to be said. I mean, the packaging aspect alone, I think that's an we'll see if other companies follow the approach that he took with that. So anyway, forgot how I got off on the tangent about Andrew, but I did want to mention that at some point. So the map is really cool. I would say that the quality of like the actual map itself it's a very thin material, so you would probably need to be careful with this map. When you almost want to put it in some sort of protection sleeve, maybe, just to be, it's, I think so there's this fold here in the middle, and yeah, thanks, Davey. Agree with that. I'm glad you are familiar with Andrew as well. This seam in this map, I think over time, if you bend it and unbend it and bend it and unbend it, I do worry if it might actually make it very easy to kind of tear it apart into two pieces. Which, if this didn't happen to fall into two pieces, it's probably not the end of the world. But anyway, that's the map. Okay, so next in the box are some dividers. These are just for organizational purposes to help with keeping the cards organized in the box when you finally start sorting them. I'm not going to put it together right now, but it's nice that they give you this, paper organizer. And again, it's cheap. It's just cardboard. People might be upset by that, but it's not a more robust storage system. But obviously, this is in line with what this game's trying to do in providing a very recyclable, non-plastic solution for something that's traditionally plastic. So I'm not going to be frustrated with that, and it's nice that they give you something at all to try to organize your cards with. All right, so the very last part, or the very last item in the box here, as you can see, is the cardboard counters. Yeah, I mean, I think, okay, so I don't think this is a spoiler alert, and don't kill me, Andrew, or Earthborne Games, if it's a somehow spoiler alert. But, like Stephen Bonacor likes to say, he likes to talk about how he always gets the insider news. So I'm going to pretend like I'm Stephen Bonacor here and say I have some insider news that there will be another Kickstarter of this game soon. I don't know when, but if I'm you, Mike, let's see wait for the feedback for this first print run of Earthborne, and wait for more content to be made. Like I said, I hope to do a video myself of a playthrough to show off the game, but and then make a judgment call based on that. So then, but back to the counters here. These counters align with the skill tests. So there's the spirit focus, fitness, awareness. And these, I think, probably are used to help modify skill tests. Like maybe you get a token to add to a skill test in the future to help buff it increase results. Not exactly sure off the top of my head what all of these other symbols are representing. But, okay, Davey confirmed. I did not have insider information there that apparently it's public knowledge that the GameFound campaign is expected in 2024. So thanks for confirming the timing on that. And yeah, Mike as well. Sounds like there's maybe already a forums on BGG explaining that description as well. Okay, and these are like, I think, kind of time trackers. So this reminds me of, well, you could argue these are like the clue tokens of Arkham Horror LCG, where in Arkham Horror LCG, and not everyone's played that, I know, but if you have played that, this is kind of what those are. So in order to get to the next, open up a location or get to the next spot, you have to have so many of these tokens on a location or an object or whatever. So that's what these are meant for, I believe, more or less. And then trying to quickly see what the red flowers are. Those are harm tokens. So again, going back to what I was saying, that this game, is trying to use a lot of terms that you don't usually see games use. So these are called harm tokens, not damage tokens, not blood tokens or harm tokens. I assume to track damage to characters or something like that. And then these are called the ranger tokens. And then these are called general tokens. So I'm sure these probably get used for all sorts of general purposes, hence the name. So that's the tokens. The tokens are actually fairly decent quality as far as I'm concerned. They've got some, I'll pop one out. They've got some nice depth to them. They're not paper thin or anything. They've got some durability. So nice tokens in my mind. And that's essentially all there is in the box. So the one thing, now Andrew, if you're watching this part at least, I'm hoping to maybe still snag a playmat, because when I first looked at this game on GameFound, I never really I'm not proud to say this. I don't really read into the games very much on GameFound when I back them. I'm like, oh, this looks cool, I back it. I don't really, and then there's all these add-ons for these games, and typically I'm like, oh, the add-ons, they're just add-ons. I don't need them. But for this game, there is a playmat that was an add-on, and I do think it would have been nice to have I do think it will be nice to have with this game is the playmat to help keep the cards organized. Otherwise, you of course just have to do it in your mind. Like, this is my play area section. Like, there's a play area, then there's like the enemy kind of section, if you want to call it that. And I'm no complaint that it wasn't included in the game, because I understand then that would have made the game that much more expensive if they included it. I just wish I had done more research on the game itself before I made the decision not to include that. So one thing I would add then is to keep that in mind, I guess, Mike, since you haven't bought the game yet, is if you feel the need for that playmat. But this is a game where I do think having a playmat, because a lot of games you get the playmat instead of a board. That's the add-on. And in this game, there's otherwise no board at all. You just have to have your own. You could probably make a paper one, obviously. Or I'm sure on BGG maybe there's files for ones you can print off. But anyway, something to keep in mind. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick unboxing of Earthborne Rangers. I mean, this game is innovative for sure. I mean, all things aside, what this game is trying to accomplish, an open world experience, is not something I see very much in games. The one that most recently was backed on Kickstarter was called like Ember Fire or Spirit Fire or something like that, and it was the same Orange Nebula, or I want to say Orange Nebula was the publishing company. Someone can fact check all of this. And they were the company that they did another kind of unique game. But point being is that's another game that came, that's going to come out in the future that has this kind of open world concept that you don't see often in board games. Board games usually are very linear, where you do this to try to accomplish this, and then you win the game, boom, and you're done. So we'll see if this kind of this design encourages more games of this nature. No pun intended, since it's Earthborne, but the games of this nature in the future. And also, like I said, I really appreciate the eco-friendly nature of the packaging materials in this game, because I'm like many of you, I'm throwing a lot of stuff away, a lot of that plastic insert stuff, and throwing it away after I get it and after I get the game. So I don't think the board game industry. I'm definitely on the side of people that would say that it's not up to the board. The hobby board game industry. The impact they can make in terms of reduction of plastic is going to be much smaller than a lot of other industries. But at the same time, if it can be done, why not try to cut down on materials that aren't really needed to be used. So with that said, definitely check out then that upcoming Earthborne Rangers Game Found campaign, which, thanks, as Davey mentioned in the comments, should be in Q2 or Q3 of 2024. But in the meantime, definitely, if you haven't already, subscribe, follow the Talking Cardboard YouTube, or follow the link to our Twitch page. Follow us there in case I do another stream, hopefully soon, of a gameplay of Earthborne Rangers. And then finally, I mentioned this to Andrew, and I still hope to make it a reality. Two things that I hope to make a reality with Earthborne. First, I discussed with Andrew of having him as a guest on our Talking Cardboard podcast. So follow our Apple podcast on Apple or Spotify if you want to be aware when that happens. And then also, if you're in the Twin Cities area in February from the 16th through the 18th, there's a board game convention, probably Minnesota's largest board game convention, called Con of the North, located in Plymouth, Minnesota. And my hope is to get someone from the Earthborne Games team to GM some demos of Earthborne Rangers, so people in the area can come and see the game in action for themselves and even participate. Right now, that event is not, as of today, December 14th. There is no event yet for Earthborne Rangers at Con of the North, but I'm hoping to make that a reality. So, thanks guys so much for watching this. Obviously, if you're watching this after I've done after it's been live, you're watching the recording on the YouTube channel, please feel free to add comments in terms of what you're excited about with this game, and also if you have any comments as how how I can improve the quality of these unboxing videos, because I'm still getting better and better every single time I do these in terms of the technology aspects. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your